it's not whether you get knocked down, it's about you getting up. Now let's talk about the men that were able to get knocked down and also get up from where they got knocked down. Talk about Inter Milan. Talk about Lewis Hamilton. Yes, Hamilton might not have gotten knocked down, but he has shown that he has the ability to always stand tall. Yes, welcome. This is the arena. It's a brand new Monday. It's also a new month, and I would say happy new month to you. Yes, let's talk about the stories that are emanating from the world of sports on today's show. Yes, lots and lots of sporting activities went down over the weekend, and on today's show we have the plethora of time to talk about these issues right here on the show. A packed show, I would definitely tell you it is. There are lots of things to talk about, from football to Formula 1. All of this we will be doing on today's show, but ensure that you don't go anywhere, because when we get back, the show starts in full. I'll be your host. My name is Jidechi Chidiezie. Welcome back. This is the arena. Yes, I said it's a brand new month. Month of May, we are done with April, and of course, expect the new month to bring along new tidings, especially in the world of sports. Yes, lots and lots of sporting issues to talk about. If you're just joining, my name is Jidechi Chidiezie, and in the studio with me is Babatunde Oloyokun. Babatunde, pleasure having you.
It's my pleasure being here.
Yes, the Workers' Day holiday, and we are here to talk about stories emanating from the world of sports. I mean, we don't get to have a break doing this once it comes to talking about sports. Sports doesn't go on break.
Exactly.
So there's always something to talk about. Okay, why don't we start off today's show talking about the Formula 1? Yes. Lewis Hamilton in the news again. He was able to win the one that went down in Portugal, the Portuguese Grand Prix, and he was champion of that one. And quite the interesting one, Hamilton, winner of that one once again, his 97th career win. Babatunde.
Over the time, Lewis Hamilton has proved to be the Lionel Messi of Formula 1.
Well, I think at this point you're looking for trouble, I would say. Some people wanted to say he's the Cristiano Ronaldo of Formula 1.
This is not just about his athleticism on the track. His technicality says it all. If you remember, during the qualifiers, he started on the second on the log. His teammate Bottas was on.
Was doing better than him.
So it's actually not surprising for anyone who has followed Formula 1. This is the third race in the new season, and with this win, Lewis Hamilton has actually proved to be unstoppable. With this win, he's actually 7 points ahead of his nearest rival, which is Verstappen. Verstappen has actually been. We actually expect Verstappen to give him a run for his money, and it's still a long season. So let's see. But I believe Lewis Hamilton will always be the Lewis Hamilton that we've all known.
Okay, talking about the Lewis Hamilton that we've all known, some people have said one of the reasons Hamilton is always getting this is because he has one of the fastest cars in the competition. And it's sometimes we would say these are things you don't want to listen to, because it's oppositions are always bringing up things like this. But let's look at it. Hamilton driving with his company that he's currently with, and you see, is it a case of Mercedes giving Hamilton the best of the best? Is Hamilton doing this because of talent, or is he just doing this because of the caliber of vehicles he gets?
This allegation has been popping up over time, and my response to most of them is always, okay, is Hamilton the only Mercedes driver doing this? Bottas is a teammate. So if Lewis Hamilton is doing this, you can't just take this away from him. His technicality is there for us to see. Verstappen, who was actually leading the race yesterday, actually made a mistake in the 11th lap. This is a decisive movement for Hamilton to capitalize on, and you can't expect Hamilton, with his wealth of experience, to not capitalize on silly mistake on the track. So the question of Hamilton having comparative advantage over his other competitors because of his car is actually baseless to me. Yes, you have to drive. You can have a fast car, but the truth is, do you have the technicality to make this work for you? This is what Lewis Hamilton has proven over time, and we are all seeing the results. 7-point gap, just 2 races. Let's see how this pans out.
Okay, 97 victory for this man. Earlier this year, say last year too, we were talking about how he was going to break and how he has broken the record of the legendary Michael Schumacher. And we've moved on from talking about how Hamilton should be able to do number 91 and number 92. Now we're talking about number 97 heading to a 100th win for him. We are getting to see the greatest driver of all time in this day.
Without taking anything away from Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton has proven to be a super driver. Last season, he actually equaled the 91 winning set by Michael Schumacher. But the fact that he wasn't actually comfortable with that, setting the pace. This is 97. Trust me, I don't be surprised before the end of the season we see a Lewis Hamilton clocking 100 winning in the Grand Prix. This is actually achievable.
And that brings me to the question of the world championships. We saw Hamilton do it last season, equal Schumacher's record of 6 championships. At this pace, are we expecting a record-breaking feat from Hamilton later in the season?
Last season, Hamilton actually broke a lot of records. The most win in a season, equaling Schumacher's record, and also the gap in which he won the title last season. You need to see the contribution he made to Mercedes being the car Mercedes winning the title. You know, Hamilton is a world champion. Mercedes is also he contributed the larger part of point to Mercedes winning the construction championship.
I mean, it's a good one. At this point, we just want to keep talking about the big man. They call him Sir Hamilton. Yes, you know he's a knighted man. Yeah, you have to address him as he is. Yes, Sir Lewis Hamilton. But let's move over from Formula 1 and talk about some football, particularly on the local scene. Yes, over the weekend, we got to hear another sad one, another accident about a Nigerian team, and this time around an NNL side, Abia Comets. They were involved in a road crash over the weekend. Yes, and it's a sad one considering it's something we've been hearing a lot this year and say late last year, just this season particularly, both in the top division and the lower divisions, and considering the security challenges in the country as it stands. The league is about to resume very soon. We just saw Rivers United and Enyimba go down yesterday in the professional football league. And considering how unsafe the road is as it stands, what would you say would be the best possible way going forward? Because we've already seen lots and lots of road accidents. Some teams had their buses get burnt. Some others, it was just a road crash. And luckily for us, we are not hearing about any deaths. But how can we get away from stories like that?
Just like you said, luckily for us, no life was lost. Thank God for that. 18 players with 8 officials and the driver. According to reports, they were actually coming back from honoring the game against Crown FC of Ogbomoso. And thank God no life was lost. This is what we keep saying. If our local league is actually marketable, if we can attract investors to invest on the local league, then we'll be seeing a situation whereby our local teams will be flying from the base to the away matches. This, I think, will be more safer for them. But in a situation whereby the local league is not that attractive to investor.
But let me cut you off. Talking about that attractive. In a case where you have like a Heartland and Enyimba who are just city neighbors, we still have this kind of situations arise.
When we talk about neighbors, that is understandable. The distance covered won't be as
much as when they travel
exactly,
down,
and also that will actually reduce the risk of traveling. In a situation whereby players travel from like Lagos to Kano, that's more like a day journey. So how do you expect such player to perform on the field of play? The fatigue, the stress, even psychologically, they will be down. So that is one of the reasons, that is actually one of the factors that contributed that usually contribute to our low away win when you travel almost 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours before you can honor a league game. So all hands needs to be on deck for the league to be marketable. It starts from the journalists, from the organizers, all hands we just need to coexist and also to find a way in which this league of ours, because whether we like it or not, it is ours. This league needs to work out. It is so unfortunate that this issue keep occurring, accident here and there. But thank God this time around, no life was lost.
Okay, talking about marketable and a marketable league, let's talk about the good one the LMC have been doing in terms of age grade football. Talking about the NPFL under 15 promises. If you've not been following that one, we've gotten to the crescendo of it. Yes, it went down over the weekend, and Katsina United, the new champions of the NPFL under 15 promises. Yes, the NPFL, the under 15 promises this year, the final was between Katsina United and Warri Wolves, and Katsina United are the new champions of the 8th grade football competition. Talking about marketability right now, it's a good thing what we are seeing with the under 15 promises and what LMC are doing about it.
When I first got the news a few months ago about, in case our viewers are not aware, La Liga is actually in
partnership with
LMC on this. That is what we're talking about in terms of marketability. If we can sell our product to a giant like La Liga, then we are making stride. It's actually a welcome development that the NFL actually deemed fit to organize a competition of this magnitude. In magnitude, it says that we are catching them young. Looking at those games, there's this particular guy. His name is Okiki. He wore the number 11 jersey for Warri Wolves. Trust me, that boy is a future star. It's actually. It
always brings to mind the likes of Kwara United's players. We had two of them from the NPFL under 15 promises about 2 years ago, and currently they play in the Nigerian Professional Football League.
That's what we're talking about. Catch them young. This will actually expose these guys to a lot of things they're not exposed to before the tournament. Just like the senior man Kelechi Iheanacho, we all actually experience his progress from the under 10, on the 12, on the 15. Even recently, the picture of his under 15 competition on the internet. That is what we're talking about. Expose them. Investor will come in. Even European football teams we want to. So this is what we're talking about. 8th grade competition.
Okay. Let's move over from that one. End of this segment of the show, talking about Enyimba International of Abia. The draws for the quarterfinals are officially out, and Enyimba right now have been drawn into the quarterfinal stages of the CAF Confederation Cup. Yes, remember the one between them and Orlando Pirates, which went down last week. Got sorted out, and Enyimba topped their group A. They were top of that one, and now they are out. They've been drawn alongside Pyramids of Egypt, and if they finish that one, they will be seen. They will be moving to the semi-finals of the competition. But I mean, before we talk about the semi-finals, why not we talk about the quarterfinals and the possibility of what Enyimba could do in that one?
One of the good news out of these draws that took place on Friday in Cairo is that Enyimba will be playing away from home in the first leg.
You actually think that's a good move? It's
actually good news for us Nigerians, because we all know how the Northerners normally behave when it comes to continental competition. The gimmick, the antics, the dramas. So let them begin on in the first leg. Then we'll know how to prepare for them in the return leg that will take place in Abia in a week time after the first leg.
But putting Enyimba on the spot now, do you actually think Enyimba has the ability of going through to the finals of this one?
Enyimba is not just a 2-time champion for nothing. The experience is there, the exposure is there for them. So I expect nothing than a win and a progress for the people elephant of Abia.
Okay, you say a win and a progress for the People's Elephants of Abia. Yes, that one expected to be going on later in May. Yes, the first legs of those matches will be going on later, and let's see what Enyimba can do. Let me run you through quickly the quarterfinal stages of the competition. The first matches will be seeing CS Sfaxien of Morocco and JS Kabylie that won the first quarterfinal game. The other quarterfinal games would be the ones between Orlando Pirates and Raja Casablanca. Yes, those two sides, and the winner of that one will be facing the winner of Pyramids of Egypt and of course Enyimba International of Nigeria. And the final quarterfinal game will be Coton Sport of Cote d'Ivoire and of course ASC Jaraaf. Those are the quarterfinal pairings of the CAF Confederations Cup. Now let's go on a quick break, and when we get back from it, we'll talk about some other footballing stories that's not about the local scene.
Fresh from the farm, e good for body, no chemical at all. This na real banga. No more wahala or pandy washy. Just put on for fire and your food is already. Everybody follow me chop a banga, hey banga, extra. Make you follow me chop a banga, banga cook don easy. Banga na palm fruit wey dem comot, put am inside can. You fit use banga cook any kind soup wey you like, and other food dem like rice, beans and even yam. Na Pali Agro Product Limited dem dey manufacture am. For distribution, make you call 070-666-38213. Banga for make your food yummy yum.
Welcome back. This is the Arena. Yes, if you're just joining us, it's the Monday edition of the show, and in the studio with me has been sports analyst Babatunde Oloyokun. Babatunde, now let's move on and talk about start off with the Premier League. Games went down this weekend. We just had one that didn't go down, and that was because the fans decided it's time for things to change. Talk about Manchester United.
I think we fans are just getting to know that we can dictate how our clubs are being run. For over the years, the United faithfuls has been clamoring for a change in the leadership of the hierarchy in United. After the Super League crackdown, we also saw how Edward actually resigned. So they need a leadership, a leader. They need an owner. They need an owner that can actually see through the fans. Not just a owner that is just business oriented. Yes, football is all about is actually a business, but they need people with a footballing mind. Just like look at the Chelsea hierarchy now. They bring in Peter Cech, who has actually played the game and is also seeing it from the footballing aspect of the game. So I think it's all long overdue. They've been clamoring for this. A lot of allegation has been made against the owner, taking money out of the team, not investing enough on the squad. So I think it is the time for the fans to make their grievances known to the owner. We need a new owners. Please don't kill United.
Okay, let me play the devil's advocate for a minute. Some people, some quarters are of the opinion that should it be the fans to dictate who takes charge of the club, considering these men are the ones that actually bought the club. Yeah. A businessman is doing his business, and should it be the fans who should actually tell the businessmen what to do?
Whether we like it or not, we the fans are major stakeholders in the say in how our football clubs are being run. We are major stakeholders. Okay, take the fans out of the stadium. How will they survive? We know how a lot of teams are struggling when the fans are not allowed into the stadium. Their supportership means a lot to the club. Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world, and we expect such fans to look when the clubs are falling. I saw an article a few days ago whereby one of the United faithfuls highlighted the atrocities that have been committed by the owners. Yes, they are the owners, they are businessmen, but do they have the interest of the team at heart? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. Do they have the interest of the team at heart? The fact that they are actually playing in the shadow of their neighbors, okay, let me put it in quote, their noisy neighbors this time around, it's actually one of the reasons why the United faithfuls are actually clamoring for a change in the ownership of the team. You can't be looking when your rivals are investing heavily on the squad and you are maybe when you're not Baba Jabu, as we call it in Nigeria. So I think it's long overdue. The United faithfuls, they deserve better than what they are getting from the owners. So I think a change is imminent in the ownership of the team.
A change is imminent in the ownership of the team. That's what Babatunde says. Well, why Manchester United couldn't have their own huge clash against Liverpool? Well, some people would be saying it's good Manchester United couldn't play because at least Manchester City are not yet champions of the Premier League. Well, some other games actually went down over the weekend. Let's take a look at those games together. Yes, on Friday, started off on Friday with Southampton and Leicester City. Ended 1-1. That game against between the two sides who we saw clashed in the FA Cup some weeks ago. Later on Saturday, Manchester City took a step closer to getting crowned as the English champions. 2-0. That one ended in favor of Crystal Palace, in favor of Manchester City over Crystal Palace. Still on Saturday, Brighton and Hove Albion took on Leeds United, ended 2-0, and then Chelsea, who have been doing so well for a while now, they were also able to churn out a 2-0 victory over Fulham. Later on Saturday evening was Aston Villa and Everton. Aston Villa the winners in that one, and then on Sunday, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was on target as Arsenal cruised to a 2-0 victory over Newcastle United. Gareth Bale, 3 wonderful goals. Yes, a wonderful hat-trick for him as Tottenham Hotspur thrashed Sheffield United. You already relegated Sheffield United by 4-0. Later on Monday night would be the ones between West Bromwich Albion and then Wolverhampton, and of course the other one between Burnley and West Ham United. Now let's move on from the English Premier League and talk about the Italian Serie A. Yes, why Manchester City awaits to be crowned champions in the English Premier League. Some people have already been crowned champions. Talk about Inter Milan and talk about the wonderful things they've done. Babatunde, Inter Milan champions of the Serie A.
If you remember vividly, the last time I was on the show, I said Conte is back in Italy to end the winning streak he started with Juve. This is wonderful. We've all been waiting for them because they've been champion elect for some weeks back. Romelu Lukaku has been phenomenal. Eriksen, there was this news, this joke around on social media when Atalanta couldn't win over the weekend, because that actually made Inter Milan the champion because they played a 1-1 draw. So that Eriksen left Tottenham to become the champion of Italy. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. Conte has done it again. He's a winner. We all know he's a Serie A winner. Anywhere he goes, he wins. Ending a 9 years dominance of Juve is welcome in football.
Welcome development. And talk about Juve, talk about their 2-1 victory over Udinese over the weekend, and one man was on target once again, Cristiano Ronaldo, and he did that and kept the hopes of Juventus alive. Yes, right now Juventus are fighting so strongly to come up to be among the top 4 in the Serie A, and that victory over Udinese kept them 4th on the table right now. They have 66 points, just some points shy of Atalanta, who are 2nd. Inter Milan already taking home that one. Napoli 3rd, also with 66 points, and we also see AC Milan on 5th. So the fight for the top 4 place is still hot as we speak. Do you see Juventus getting that Champions League spot at the end of the season?
I actually love the competition in Italy this year. Before the game between Atalanta, Juve, on Saturday, AC Milan was actually 2nd. Within the blink of an eye, they are 5th. This fight is actually between Napoli, Juve, and AC, and I really hope a certain Cristiano Ronaldo, the world-class Cristiano Ronaldo. We also saw what he did: 2 goals in the space of 10 minutes. He equalized because they were actually down in the first half. He equalized in the 83 minutes, and in the 98th minute, Cristiano Ronaldo does what he knows how to do best.
Okay, talk about the Spanish La Liga. That's another place. The fight is getting hotter as we speak. Yes, Atletico Madrid are still top of that one. Then you have Real Madrid. They also were able to get a result over the weekend, and Barcelona too. The top 3, and of course you have Sevilla on 4th position. Another hot race this time around, not just for the top 4 spot, but for who will get the number 1 spot at the end of the season.
I was watching the Atletico game on Saturday, and the opponent had a 89th minute penalty. In this time, the post actually came to the rescue. This is one of the most anticipating La Liga we've ever seen. 2 points separating the first and the third. 4 points separating the first from the fourth. This is going down to the wire.
Who would you pick as the champion at the end of the season?
At the end of the season, this is actually unpredictable. Atletico Madrid dropping a point last week or so. We expect Barcelona to capitalize on that, and they lost on their own turf. This is actually unpredictable at the moment. But Barcelona actually has the advantage over them, because Barcelona is actually not playing in Europe. Real Madrid still participating in the Champions League. We don't know how that's going to pan out with Chelsea tomorrow. On Wednesday. So I think Barcelona. In case you don't know, Barcelona is playing Atletico next. So this
is the game we all have.
This is actually going to be the decider.
Okay, let's quickly move over from the La Liga and talk about the UEFA Champions League. Yes, let's start off. 2 UEFA Champions League ongoing at the moment. But before we wrap up the show, let's quickly talk about the women and then wrap up with the men. The semi-finals of the UEFA Women's Champions League have been settled. Chelsea 4-1 winners over Bayern, and of course Barcelona were able to do their own game 2-1 over PSG ended. And the good thing for us as Nigerians is that the Africa's women's best player is in the finals of that one for the second time in 3 years. Talk about Asisat Oshoala and Barcelona against Chelsea in the finals of the Women's Champions League.
It's actually a great feat for Nigerians. We're having our own super Asisat Oshoala in the UEFA Women's Champions League, playing against Chelsea. Over the time, Abramovich is not just investing in the male team, it's actually investing in the women. They have a world-class coach. They brought in a lot of players over the summer, and we are all seeing the dividend being paid on the pitch of play. The UEFA Women's Champions League, this can go anywhere. As a Chelsea fan, this is actually a mistake. So as a Chelsea fan, I want the women to win. As a Nigerian, I want to let the best team win.
Quickly, let's wrap up talking about the UEFA Champions League. The second leg games are going down on Tuesday and Wednesday. We've seen how the first leg games panned out. Now with the second leg games to come up on Tuesday and Wednesday, in one word, how do you think those both games would finish?
We also the firework on the first leg. I expect nothing less than this. Neymar actually came out over the weekend to say he will shed blood to win this for the Paris Saint-Germain France. Nothing. I expect nothing than a spectacle from him. In one word, Chelsea, Real Madrid. We all saw the first leg. Nobody expected Chelsea to shine just like they did. So, and one of the advantages Real Madrid is having is that no fans will be allowed to witness. So this is still a balanced game. Okay. So as a Chelsea fan, I wish my team well, and I want them to be in the final.
Okay. He wants his team to be in the final, but I think I would pick the fact that he say it's going to be a spectacle. Yes, the ones between Chelsea and Real Madrid, and of course now that game between Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain. How about the one between Barcelona and Chelsea in the women's game? I also want to see how spectacular that one is going to pan out. Yes, lots and lots of footballing games are reaching a crescendo at this point. But for this show, we've gotten to the crescendo. We have to call it a wrap here. Babatunde, it's been a splendid one doing this with you on today's edition.
It's my pleasure being here always. It's my pleasure being here.
Thank you very much. It's also been my pleasure having you. And for you who's been watching, I would say it's also been my pleasure having you watch as we talk about the stories emanating from the world of sports. Till next time I come your way, ensure you stay safe. My name is Jidechi Chidiezie. Bye for now.
iBrandTV. Business first.